We got a couple minutes until the opening bell. Let's check in on some trending tickers right now. Hasbro, definitely on our list. It's announced it will implement organizational changes. That is a euphemism, maybe, for cutting jobs. That's 15% of its workforce in order to reduce costs. The toy maker also issuing some weaker than expected guidance for the fourth quarter. Revenue could fall as much as 17%. And the company said fourth quarter earnings will be $1.29 to $1.31. That is way below the $1.49 that analysts had been estimating. So not good.
Not good. And I think back, I did my take on Hasbro. They did an investor day a couple months ago and put out really these outlandish longer-term guidance ranges, which I said at the time looked completely foolish, and they look even more foolish today in the context of seeing fourth quarter sales down 17% year over year. And I talked to a couple investors in Hasbro, and they're just very disappointed by the execution at the company. They're waiting for some of these cost cuts that Hasbro has promised to really start to flow through to the bottom line. That has not happened yet. And this notion that toys, I think, are recession-proof could be tossed right in the trash. Brad, I went to Target the final few days ahead of Christmas, and a lot of Hasbro's board games were collecting dust on their shelves.
Look, I'm going to look at one of the bright spots here. D&D. A lot of D&D, Dungeons & Dragons fans out there can be very pleased that Hasbro is saying that's still going to be a bright spot. It's also a big year for Dungeons & Dragons. Got a new motion picture coming out. We know how well many of these action figures and toys will do off the back of a motion picture. I believe that drops actually sometime soon, March 31st, I believe, is that release date. And so for the fans of Chris Pine and Reggae Jean Page, they can...
That's who's in it?
Yeah, great cast.
I'm fans of those two people.
There we go.
Big fan. I will say also, but remember there was a resurgence, I think, because of Stranger Things, because the kids in Stranger Things were big D&D heads. And so I feel that was one of the
Hellfire
things
Club.
that helped kick off...
I'm not a D&D person.
And I was never... which is weird because I'm a huge nerd that I was never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Speaking of all this digital world, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro continues to be dragged on social media, whether it's on YouTube, these real hardcore followers on how they may have damaged that brand by flooding the market with various cards. So that is something I think a lot of investors are watching and mining the internet for.
Flooding the market.
Information. They saw the digital brand. They wanted to make more money for it. They flooded the market with all these cards and all this extra stuff. The market wasn't supportive of them doing this, and the true hardcore gamers have backlashed against Hasbro, and it has become a risk to that key brand.